Which Qur'anic surah does not begin with Bismillah? Surah At-Tawbah. Excellent knowledge. Which surah contains Bismillah twice? Surah An-Naml. Brilliant work! Which surah contains Ayat al-Kursi? Surat al-Baqarah. You got it! What is correct Qur'an recitation called? Tajweed. Excellent answer! Which prophet received the Zabur? Prophet Dawood. Amazing knowledge!
Which surah is named after women? Surat.
How many verses are in Surat Al-Fatiha? 7 verses. Brilliant! In which month was the Qur'an revealed? Ramadan. Wonderful knowledge! What is explanation of the Qur'an called? Tafsir. Excellent answer! Which surah tells about the people of the cave? Amazing knowledge! Which is the longest surah in the Qur'an? Surat Al-Baqarah. Excellent! Which surah contains the first revealed verses? Surah Al-Alaq. Brilliant work! How many juz are in the Qur'an? 30 juz. You got it! Which surah is named after iron? Surah Al-Hadid. Excellent answer! Which surah is named after the bee? Surat An-Nahl. Wonderful! Which surah is called the heart of the Qur'an? Surah Yasin. Excellent knowledge! Which surah is named after the spider? Surah Al-Ankabut. Great job! Which surah is named after the fig? Brilliant answer! Which surah records Luqman's advice to his son? Surah Luqman. Brilliant answer! Which surah is named after Friday? Surat Al-Jumu'ah. Excellent! Which surah is named after the believers? Amazing knowledge! Which surah is named after light? Surah An-Nur. Excellent answer! Which surah mentions the hoopoe and Queen of Sheba? Surah An-Naml. Brilliant knowledge! Which surah is chapter 36 of the Qur'an? Surah Yasin. You got it! Which surah begins by praising Allah's complete dominion? Surah Al-Mulk. Excellent knowledge. Which surah mentions the splitting of the moon? Surah Al-Qamar. Amazing answer. Which surah is named after the star? Surah An-Najm. Brilliant work.